Hello friends, Kip Teitsort here with DT4EMS and an episode of Chronicles of a Culture Changer. What I'm going to do this morning is kind of cover a few things. I made a picture yesterday about the 10 things that I thought I would ask everybody to research. And I think when you do this, it will become very clear why we share the information that we do, the way that we share the information that we do. So first of all, I want to point this out and say, why do so many frontline staff members ask to carry a handgun on duty, yet many administrators don't even feel that training their staff for the use of force and/or self-defense on duty is even important? So where's the disconnect? There should be a big issue right there that sends off bells and whistles for everybody watching this right now. Going, if my frontline staff want to carry a gun, but administrators don't feel training in self-defense is even important, something's not right. So the next thing is I want everybody to research for number two is, did you know there's a real distinct difference between a patient and an attacker? Not everybody that we're called to is truly a patient, and not everybody that we're called to actually wants to hurt us. So there's some critical thinking skills that need to be present for our staff to recognize these things, that there is a distinct difference between a patient and an aggressor, and we believe that is probably the single most important thing that we get out across the country. We actually kind of say that if we could get that recognition out there, that we could probably reduce assaults by 50% overnight. The next thing is, many providers have a mistaken belief that they either take custody or maintain custody of someone without consent. And usually this is during a drunk or drugged situation. And this is a whole subject onto itself. Meaning that I could have a person, and providers are trained that if you have a person who's cut off their arm and they're sitting there holding their arm, that, you know, and blood is spewing out, that they can't touch them without consent. But one beer smells the same as 10 beers on a person's breath, and let a person stub their toe and have a beer on their breath, and providers are in many places using force to try to take custody of someone they have no training and or authority in which to do. Guys, this is a bad practice, and it's getting our people hemmed up all over. Again, these are things I'm asking you to research. Many providers, so number four, many providers have been injured because they're unaware that they can flee a violent encounter. That at the moment that they feel that their safety is in danger, that it is okay to back away. We've made it understandable for them for a fire, for a hazmat scene, for flash flood, for whatever it may be. Providers, both in hospital and pre-hospital, understand it's okay to back away from something that they have A, no training, B, no equipment to handle if they're unsafe. Violence, on the other hand, is not the case. Violent, and we'll say even in the use of force. The next piece is, all too often, so number five, all too often assaults go unreported because of fear of lack of administration support and or ridicule by the peers. Just look around social media and see what peers, supposed professionals, are saying about how they would use force on the job. Guys, it is a problem with our culture we've got to fix. So number six, if several states have enacted laws, some with enhanced penalties about attacking healthcare providers, both pre-hospital and in-hospital. Some have stiffer penalties or enhanced penalties for assaulting them. Some are on the exact same statute as it is to assault a police officer. My question to you is, what do lawmakers know that either you or your administration isn't aware of about the use of force or violence in our job or on our job? The next thing is with number seven. With no formal training on the use of force, what happens now is there's no reasonable understanding, meaning reasonable. You have to define reasonable and then define reasonable force. So the definition of reasonable is something that is just, usual, or appropriate under the circumstances. And then the definition of reasonable force is that force that a reasonable person would use in the same or similar situation. So when you haven't given people a definition of reasonable and reasonable force, they just do what feels right at that moment. Well, if you're angered and you're because someone scratched you or grabbed you, you have to get it that a 65-year-old person with a TBI, septic, hypoxic, hypovolemic, whatever the reason, may grab you the exact same way as a person in their 20s who is high or intoxicated. That split-second decision-making only occurs in medicine. No one else has to make that split-second decision. So if you're only training in a technique and you haven't given your people the critical thinking skills to recognize when they should use a technique where, you know, now you see the problem. So number eight, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, That's pretty independent. It's not KIPS numbers. It's not DT4EMS numbers. It's not any of our clients' numbers. It's from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It says that injury from violence is the leading cause to lost work time in healthcare and the social service industry. Not needle sticks, not back injuries, not exposure to infectious diseases, violence. And yet you still want to act, and I'm saying you, but not saying you particularly, but people want to hide under the covers and pretend this monster doesn't exist. It is the giant elephant in the room. We've been screaming this for nearly 20 years, and just now people are starting to jump onto the bandwagon. So, number 9, hospitals are now being fined by OSHA. I want to say the one is either Brookdale, I want to say is what the name of the hospital was, recently fined $78,000 for violence on one of their staff members. A nurse got a $5 million settlement after being injured on the job from an attack. And then, again, so number 10, no other profession, no other person. So not a police officer, not a woman walking in a park, not a guy standing in a bar. No other situation requires people to have specific critical thinking skills to recognize a patient versus an aggressor in the moment in time like we have to in medicine. So with that, all I'm asking you to do is be careful about attempting to apply the square tool to the round problem. If you're not using a system or training in a system designed for healthcare, oh my goodness, we have an issue. So here's what you need to do. Research all of these things that I've given you and then start training. Even if your agency isn't providing the training, what you need to start doing is making sure that you're not using something that's designed for custody and control. That's not our job. That you're not using something that is about pain compliance, because our research shows most of the people that are attacking healthcare have an increased pain threshold due to being either high or drunk. So regular pain compliance things don't work. Your focus shouldn't be about control. That's not our job. The next thing is be careful about training in a system that is teaching you how to destroy a man in 3 moves or how to win a fight, because a fight requires 2 willing combatants, and we should never be in a fight in medicine. The only time we should ever be using force is in true medical, legal patient restraint and or self-defense. So cautious on how you do that. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is looking, whenever you're training, whatever you decide to choose, is that it changes your culture, meaning you start giving your people and yourself the ability to recognize when there's a change in relationship, meaning when there's a change in that patient-provider relationship, meaning it no longer exists, so I can leave. If your training isn't seamlessly giving you those things to protect you in the mind, when I can, when I can't, what is reasonable, the street, what skills work more often than not to escape the violent encounter, not beat someone up like some of these keyboard warriors talk about. The third portion is the media, guys, and it is the mainstream media and social media areas that you have to be winning in. And the last part is the courts, the court of public opinion, and the real courts, be it civil or criminal, because if you go back to our website and start looking at the stuff, you will see about providers being criminally charged and sentenced to prison time for some of the actions they have chosen. More importantly, look at how many providers are beaten up due to their or inability to recognize the difference between a patient and an attacker and remaining connected too long to someone that they should have backed away from, or their attempt to try to control someone they should have backed away from and called for additional resources, which would be those people with the training and tactics and tools to handle whatever that situation may be. You would do it in a hazmat scene, you would do it in Ebola, you would do it in whatever, but yet for some reason when it comes to violence, it's the leading cause of injury according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and every other flipping study that we show you, and we show almost 20 years worth of studies proving violence is the leading cause of injury. Not one study ever says it isn't, and yet we want to turn a blind eye to this. Well, guess what? The times are changing, and so if it's either fining or prison sentences or bad press because of inappropriate actions on your staff, we told you, and it's just, that is what it is. I'm Kip Teitsort. This has been a little bit of a longer episode of Chronicles of a Culture Changer, asking you to research those 10 things. You can go back onto the DT4EMS Facebook page and see that slide that gives you these 10 things again. Or image, I guess I should say. And if you have any questions, hey, this is what we're here for. This is what we do. It's not a piece of what we do. It is what we do. Guys, take care. Stay safe. I'm Kip, and we'll see you soon.